Yes, yes, y'all. How we doing out there, YouTube fam? It's Iconic, and we've got some new patch notes today. I'm excited about this one. We've got some balance changes that we've been asking for, and a feature that I've been looking for since the start of the game. Let's get right into it. Alright, so this one is Harness Your Inner Darkness with Season 17 Battle Pass. And we want to dive right into this. It's actually a little bit lengthier than I thought it would be, so let's check it out. Since our last content update, many players have skirmished in Wild Brawl, enjoyed a reduced cooldown period for class change, and celebrated the PC version of Immortal leaving open beta. This content update introduces 42 new legendary items, the Season 17 Ruptured Soul Battle Pass, and a variety of updates to existing features. Let's check it out. So under the feature update section, we've got general combat. Ultimate skills that provide a shield have had their duration increased from 3 to 5 seconds. And a little note here, ultimate skills are often underutilized and we'd like to give them more applications. Currently, melee ultimates provide shields that absorb damage, but they aren't providing consistent value. To help, we're increasing the duration of the shield so that players can activate ultimates before engagements and have a longer lasting shield. This means players will be less likely to get interrupted or killed outright when using their ultimate in the middle of battle. So yeah, this is definitely a problem for melee characters. I don't know if you've ever been in PvP and tried to do your ultimate and you just get locked up, CC'd, interrupted, and you just wasted your ultimate. So I know this is definitely a welcome change for melee classes. Definitely good to see that they noticed that. Next one, damage over time effects will no longer interrupt bandaging. We want players to be able to disengage from combat and easily bandage to prevent death. Damage over time effects have been overly oppressive because of seeping bile and other long duration dot effects, preventing players from healing, despite players successfully exiting combat. I know this one is annoying. I have all kind of workarounds where I try to, do a shield or one of my dashes that clear harmful effects. So I'm able to heal when I have a dot effect on me. And this is, I think, a really good balance for PvP. Some people just have so much potency built up that it doesn't matter what happens. Like, you get that seeping bile on you and it's over. You're not going to be able to heal. You're dead. And it's lasting for like 20-25 seconds, it seems like sometimes. So definitely a good change here to be able to bandage, I feel like. We've got the next season of Battlegrounds. So if you don't remember, they swapped the Battlegrounds from being tied to the Immortal reign to being 10 weeks long across all your servers. So we're getting ready to kick off Season 2 on August 28th. And it looks like they've got some changes here as well. So for matchmaking, Battleground will now consider a player's resonance when searching for a match to add them to, leading to better balanced teams. In instances where there are fewer players queuing for a Battleground match, you will still be paired against players with higher resonance than your own. This ensures players can reliably find a Battleground match within a reasonable amount of time. Thank you. Thank you. If we can get enough people playing Battlegrounds again, you should be able to queue up with people around your resonance level now, which I know has been a massive, massive complaint. I don't know how many people are really playing Battlegrounds because every time I go in, I'm getting in the same matches over and over with the same people pretty much. And that leads to the matches not being balanced, unfortunately. Hopefully this can get more people playing Battlegrounds. I think it's still fun. I enjoy doing it. But yes, being around people at your own resonance level is going to make this very, very competitive. So I hope people are willing to jump back in, give Battlegrounds another chance, and hopefully we can get some more data to the devs and they can continue to make Battlegrounds better. Scoring. When calculating points a player receives from completing a Battleground match, both that player's individual score and the average score of their team will now be considered. We'll have to see how that works in practice, but a lot of times the scoring just feels off too, and I know that's a deterrent from people wanting to push their Battleground rank. I know it's frustrating for me as well when you get MVP on a match, but you happen to lose. You do, just kill it, and then you get 0 points for it because you're too high up. So hopefully they're reworking the way that works a little bit. Stat compression. We're updating stat compression tuning to reflect the current pace of progression players have achieved. The result is that player stats will be compressed less than they were in previous seasons. We will continue to actively adjust the system in the future content updates as players increase their Paragon level and gear potency. So I'm kind of confused. This one seems a little bit maybe off base. I mean, if they compressed our stats to bring down the damage and the health, and now they're going to just bring them back up again, it doesn't stop the gap, the power gap that's going on. So we'll have to see how this one works. I mean, I do feel less powerful inside of Battlegrounds, but relative to everyone else, I mean, it's not too crazy. But if we're going to bump that back up again, I think we're going to see the gap widen. So I don't know. We'll have to see how this one works out. Secondary equipment. Set items can now be upgraded to a maximum rank of 20, previously 15. So it looks like challenge rifts are going up to 400. They're not going to be upping the rank anytime soon, as it will take multiple seasons to reach the new maximum rank of 20. That's interesting with only 5 new ranks. I would assume the way they did it last time, I mean, it was pretty easy to get to challenge rift 350. So maybe they've tuned it up so it's not as easy to get to 400. We'll have to check that out. Inferno Difficulty 1, the recommended combat rating for the Heliquari boss that unlocks Inferno Difficulty has been lowered from 15,860 to 14,550. The boss's difficulty will be adjusted accordingly. Wild Zones in Inferno 1 have also dropped to that combat rating, and dungeons have been lowered from 18,500 to 16,550. I think that, that helps out the player base, especially people looking to catch up and get into Inferno. So always good for those adjustments, because it did seem like that was a pretty big leap. And even Inferno 1 to Inferno 2, with the combat rating that we're receiving right now, it's been a little bit difficult to get over the hump to be able to fully get into the next Heliquari bosses and beat those. So always good when they're adjusting those. Deeds of Valor. After transferring to a different server, characters will revert to Adventurer affiliation. Characters will inherit the 3 most recent Deeds of Valor from previous seasons. Deeds of Valor progress within the current season will not be carried over after transferring servers. Okay, so this one is another big change that people were very happy that they brought in the server transfers, but then it was like, come on, you lose all of your Deeds of Valor. So that was definitely preventing people from switching servers if they wanted to. I think this is a really big change for the game. And maybe we'll start to see some massive servers of people just, hey, this is the server you want to be on. Gem prices are great. There's a lot of competition. So yeah, I definitely appreciate that coming in as well too. And then they've added 42 new legendaries. We'll have to break this one down maybe in another video and take a look. But for every class, I skimmed through these already earlier, and just a couple of things to point out. So I was big on the Blood Knight primary attack build, and this just got even crazier with some of the new essences I've noticed. Crusader, to me, I don't know if they've really gotten a whole lot of love. I started as a Crusader. I've swapped back a couple of times, but never for an extended period. And I just feel like they've gotten dumped on. You have to be such a great Crusader to be effective in PvP. PvE, of course, like, Crusaders are amazing, but in PvP, you really have to know what you're doing and everyone's cooldowns and time everything. And I'm not sure if these new essences help or not. The one that stands out is the Falling Sword essence. So again, I'll break these down in a separate video, but I think that could be interesting. Demon Hunter, I think, got a whole bunch of just nonsense. I don't know why they keep trying to get these sentry builds and trap builds, and like nobody plays Demon Hunter that way. Maybe in PvE, but some of these do seem interesting, so maybe there's something viable here, but for the most part, I think they're missing the mark on Demon Hunter once again. And then the other one I wanted to shout out was Wizard. I think Wizard got some ridiculous essences, so take a look at that. Again, we'll break it down, but I think Wizard could be on a warpath again. Now, this is the one that I've specifically been waiting for, especially doing content and not having a good way to really show you guys like what the differences is between different builds. It's a lot of numbers on the screen. So, I mean, a lot of times we have to run our own timers. We have to go by the feel of, hey, that felt better, that felt faster. But having some actual data to look at and go, hey, this build is better than this build, and this is why. Your primary attacks are really crazy on this build, or this specific skill with all these essences is your #1 damage dealing skill. It's just going to make a huge difference. So a training ground is here. This is going to be located to the southwest of the Elder Rift. It looks like it's pretty close to where you go in to run your keys for the Sanctum. And you have the following services that you can use to test out your builds too as well: Stash, Armory, Essence Transfer. Thank you. Thank you for listening. I mean, it's a little too late. This is something we should have had, but I mean, I finally appreciate it that we have this, and this is going to help out so much for testing and build guides. So thank you. This is huge. We've got a new battle pass coming. This will be on August 31st. And honestly, this looks pretty good. I'm excited for this one. It's been a while that I've been really excited for a battle pass and a battle pass cosmetic. So this one, I don't know what class I'm going to claim it on, but what is this, Crusader that they're showing? I think this looks amazing. There's also going to be another new cosmetic that's coming, Walking Nightmare. It's always hard to tell from these photos, but this looks like it could be pretty cool, but it looks similar to maybe some things we've already gotten, kind of sticking with that darker theme. So we'll have to check that one out. This is a paid cosmetic, 1,000 orbs in the shop. And then we've got Conquer PvP coming back. This has been one of my favorite modes personally. I don't really like the WoW Brawl PvP. I know a lot of people like it. I've never been a big Battle Royale fan, so that's probably why. But this one coming back is awesome. I hope what they do is every update we get one of these limited time events that come back in. They should be doing that every time. So the rules are the same, but they have made a couple of adjustments. So the big things to highlight here are the team consists of 8 players now instead of 10. Player health has been increased by 30%. Daily tasks are now weekly tasks, and they reset each Wednesday at 3 a.m. server time. There's been additional preset builds for each class that have been added, and now there's a time slot to do it instead of it being open all the time. I think this may be a pretty good change with the time slots, as a lot of times you'd go in and it would take forever to find a match, and maybe it was potentially pulling away from people playing Battlegrounds too as well. So you've got 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., and 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So it's like literally right before the Battlegrounds time. So this won't pull away from people wanting to play Battlegrounds. And then we've got Hungry Moon coming back, Shady Stock, bug fixes. So I think this is a huge W of a patch. I mean, Diablo Immortal just keeps getting better over time. There's a couple things that we're missing, and I'll talk about this in another video, that I think could really make this game just great for the entire player base. But over time now, they have really made this game better. You can look at different things all you want and go, I mean, it's still this or it's still that. But when you really take a look at some of the quality of life changes, the features that they've added to the game, the new game modes, they have made this game way better than it was a year ago. And they just keep going. It hasn't stopped. So I'm excited to check some of these things out. To me, the biggest W, though, is the training ground. That is what we've needed for such a long time. And then some of the battleground balance features. I can't wait to test that out and see if I'm in my bracket. Like, you know, I'm a 3K player. Am I going to be in that bracket with 2K, 3K, maybe 4K players? Because if so, that's where I excel. You get me in a match with that lineup, and I'm going to wreck shop every single time. I'm not even joking. Y'all have seen some of my PvP videos. And when you put me in and I've got to go against 7K, 8K, 10K players, like, you know, it's pretty much a wrap. And I try to do what I can do and support the team the best that I can and not die too much. But it's really hard to go against those players at 3K. So I'm looking forward to that. But again, great changes all around. Diablo Immortal just keeps getting better. I'm excited for this. I hope you guys are too. Let me know if you have any questions down below. I appreciate you guys as always. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.